Have you recently faced an unpredictable medical issue that caused you to potentially acquire medical debt? Well, have you also recently learned that the bills are now in collections and you're not even sure what to do? Well, that's what we're going to cover today and a lot more. So let's get right into it. Welcome to Ascend Finance's YouTube channel, where we cover debt collection and help you be more informed in how to get out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster. My name is Justin, and let's get into it. In this video, I'm going to cover how to negotiate and what it looks like to negotiate on medical bills, specifically medical bills in collections. And so I'm going to go through a few things, and the first thing would be, should you settle debt, or do you have another debt relief option? Or the second thing is, how is medical bills different than other debt? And then finally, negotiating bills in collections. If this video ends up being helpful and you liked this video, consider clicking the like button below. It's always encouraging for me to see. And as well as if you want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe as we try to make new videos weekly. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing is, should you settle debt, or is there another debt relief option? So let's say you have $10,000 medical bill that's behind and you settle it for $3,000, but you have another $35,000 debt where the debt collector sues you for the balance, forcing you to decide whether to receive a default judgment that results in potential wage garnishment, or file bankruptcy and start clean and get it all removed. Well, you may file bankruptcy, but then the original $10,000 debt would have to be included. So should you have filed bankruptcy in the first place? We got the question of what you should do so often that we actually built a debt relief options calculator that's personalized all the debt relief options to your data with the cost, duration, pros and cons, and the options in your area to help you get free evaluations so that you can make the most informed decision about your debt. So the next thing is how medical debt is different from other forms of debt. Well, in a nutshell, medical debt is a debt due to the failure or inability to pay for health-related expenses, right? But what is especially unique about medical debt is that it can be incurred outside of the patient's control or awareness, sadly. In the terms of the process of acquiring medical debt, it begins with an unpaid medical bill. When it's not paid, it becomes past due. From there, hospitals can send an unpaid bill over to an in-house or potentially even a third-party debt collector, or sell it to a debt buyer. What happens after your debt is turned over to a collection agency is really important. If the debt remains unpaid, the debtor is at risk of being sued or even losing their personal property. Additionally, unpaid medical debt negatively affects your credit score. Therefore, dealing with your debt if it reaches a collection agency is crucial. So, medical debt with collection agencies. What does having medical debt from a collection agency actually mean? Well, when a hospital turns your medical debt to a collection agency, it is that agency that reports the debt now. Agency have the right to report the debt to the credit bureaus immediately upon receiving them. So, from when the collection agency receives the debt report, it is required that they wait a 180-day period before adding your medical debt to your credit history. After this period of time, collection agencies have the right to list your debt in public records or file it onto your credit report. Now, unfortunately with that, even if you are still making a payment towards your debt, collection agency can still report it. So with that all said, it's important to understand some options. Now, the next thing is negotiating medical bills in collections. So when medical bills reach collection agencies, it may seem like there is nothing you can do. However, there are still many options available to you in terms of negotiating with agencies. So the first thing is negotiating for less than is owed. If you've ever settled consumer debt, settling medical debt is no different. One thing to keep in mind is the possibility that you may have been overcharged for your medical bill. Actually, in fact, according to clearpoint.org, 8 out of 10 medical bills contain errors or fraudulent charges. So in preparing to negotiate, make sure to be familiar with your medical bill, know exactly what it says, and look for errors. Next thing in terms of negotiating is negotiate disputed debts. You might consider disputing your debt if, or for instance, your insurance was supposed to pay for it and you were not aware of the debt until it was transferred to collections. If this actually applies to you, you should have about 30 days to dispute the medical bill. During this time, the collection agency does not have the right to any debt collection. There is a catch, as reporting the debt to bureaus does not count as debt collections. Now, finally, negotiate for a lump sum or a structured settlement. So settling medical debt is a viable option that you may want to consider. A lump sum is one-time fixed payment that you can offer to the collections. And this lump sum should be less than the amount you're currently being charged. So if it's $10,000, you may be able to do a lump sum settlement of $3,500. Similarly though, a structured settlement is a payment plan that rolls out over a year, let's say, or maybe longer. The key here is to negotiate to pay an amount lower than what you are currently being charged. And so that is something you could do on your own. You could work with a debt settlement company to do it. And if you're already thinking, yeah, this debt's behind, I owe it, I want to get it settled, and I want to use a company. So there's a lot of companies in the industry, but there's a couple that we actually like, and we do have a couple favorites. And so I linked in the description below the few favorites we like, and that way you can check it out, see if they resonate with you, and that way you can maybe reach out to them and get some help. As always, if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like. If you do have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to leave a comment down below, as I'm sure there are others with the same question. Also, you can call or text us at 833-272-3631. You can speak with me or someone else here, and we can chat through your questions or even just chat about your situation. Thanks again for watching. I'm always here if you have any questions.